everybody, hope all is well. In today's video, I want to share a little bit more on my background and some of the decisions that I've made in my life that I thought helped me add value to whatever marketplace that I was in at that point in time. And the reason why I'm making this video isn't to be boastful or to highlight all of my accomplishments. It's really more just to share some hopefully insightful information to you all that are watching that you can easily take away and say, listen, I can apply X, Y, or Z in my life to add value and really separate myself in my line of work, in sports, etc. So to give you some background and context, my freshman year in high school, I played football. I came in at 145 pounds. My senior year, I graduated at 275 pounds with a full scholarship, committed to Syracuse University as a defensive tackle. So just to walk you through that timeline and what that looked like, I came in, like I said, at 145 pounds my freshman season. After my freshman season, I went to my dad and a high school teacher of mine, actually, at the time, who played football at the University of Georgia. My dad was also a former Division I football player at the University of Massachusetts. And I said, listen, I want to get to the Division I level. What are the things that I need to do? And we developed a plan. And this may be a little bit controversial advice, but the way that I see it is the way that I see the decisions that I make in life. When I want to get better at sales, I focus in on sales. When I want to get better at whatever it is that I'm doing, I focus in on whatever it is that I'm doing. So growing up, I played a number of sports, but after my freshman year, I gave up on all those other sports to focus in on football. I basically devoted my life to getting better at football and trying to earn a Division I scholarship. All of my eggs were in one basket. And a lot of times you're going to hear, from coaches, from parents, from friends, play multiple sports. Coaches, like to see that you're involved with a number of different things. But I feel like just in life, whenever you want to get better at something specific, you have to focus on that one specific thing. You can't play lacrosse and want to get better at football, in my opinion. You can't play baseball and want to get better at basketball, in my opinion. Is it fun? Yes. But at that point in time, I wasn't in it for the fun. I was in it to get a Division I scholarship. And so fast forward to after my junior season, I played that season at around 235 pounds. I ended up making the decision to transfer to a boarding school up in Connecticut, which I believe put me in a better position to earn a scholarship. And basically, before even playing my senior season, I got my first full scholarship offer, which was from Syracuse University. So that was a decision that I had to make at 16 years old, because it was after my junior season. Obviously, being young, I grew up close with my family, but I knew that leaving and putting myself in a better position to hopefully earn that scholarship was the decision that I needed to make. And so that's what I did. So the point that I want to share with you all in this is, one, eliminate all the distractions and focus all your eggs on one basket. If you really want to be great at something, you need to drop everything else and focus in on whatever it is that you want to get better at. The second thing is when I started going to college camps. And I did start going to college camps to get recruited after my freshman season. And I probably weighed about 185 pounds to 200 pounds going into my sophomore year. So I definitely didn't pass the eye test, especially being a defensive lineman going into these camps. But what I did do, and the advice that I got from my dad, was to identify the prospect who was getting the most attention from the coaches that were there and line up against him 100% of the time. And it's very easy to do. You can easily identify in life, in business, going and getting recruited, in sports, who is getting the most attention. And if it's in life or business, you basically are going to want to mirror what that person's doing, because if they've been successful, you don't need to rewrite the book. You basically just need to follow what they've done to get that level of success. The same thing goes if you're being recruited in sports. If there's somebody at a camp that is being looked at, you have to line up against that person 100% of the time and make sure to give it your all. And that's one thing that I did to make sure that I was basically noticed. If they're watching this guy, they're definitely going to be watching me because I'm lining up against them 100% of the time. The other thing that I did with camps was that a lot of times kids go, you're in high school, they go with their friends, they want to go and chat and have fun. My mindset going into it was that I was going there to get a scholarship. So I did not talk with anybody that was there. I was extremely antisocial, but extremely locked into why I was there. And what I did was basically I would take my first rep, and then I would jump right back in the front of the line and take my second rep. And then I would jump right back in front of the line and take my third rep. And I would just keep doing that until the coaches told me to hold off. And the reason for that is because I wanted them to see that I had a motor and that I wasn't going to stop until they told me to stop. And that's what I did. I kept going until someone told me to stop. And to be honest with you, 9 times out of 10, nobody told me to stop. They just kept going. And obviously, kids in line would sometimes have words, but again, I wasn't there to make friends. I wasn't there for anything else besides the sole reason to get a scholarship. And that's the next point that I'll leave you with, is that when you have your mind set on something, you have to keep doing the reps. You have to keep focusing in on whatever it is that you want to get better at. So for example, I'm in sales now. When I first graduated from school, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I ended up getting into sales with no sales experience. My first year, I hit 6 figures, not really knowing what I was doing. And that second year, I had a goal in mind that I wanted to double my income. I ended up quadrupling my income, but what I did that following year was basically just read books on sales, watched videos on sales. Everything was devoted to getting better at sales. And I was able to 4x my income in just a year by, again, just focusing in on what I was doing and removing the distractions. And so all of these are pretty easy takeaways. It's pretty straightforward, but you have to be bought in. And we want to be as transparent as possible when we're making these videos. My brother and I, when I say we're both completely bought in. I mean, we were having 4, 5, 6 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches a day. For example, when I transferred to the boarding school, I was so bought into gaining weight because, again, I didn't pass the eye test when coaches looked at me. I'm maybe 6'2" on a good day. I definitely wasn't the biggest guy, wasn't the fastest guy, and I did develop some strength later on, but I knew that in order to get to the Division I level, I was probably going to play defensive line because I wasn't that fast. I was pretty strong because I worked my tail off in the gym, and I didn't have the height to play, basically anything else, so I figured I'd be an inside guy, defensive tackle. So, again, getting back to my story, my first night at the prep school that I was at, I ate so much, and I was used to my mom's food. So being Italian, obviously, I'm used to being home. I was definitely very homesick, but I forced myself to eat so much food that entire night I puked my brains out. But that's basically how I lived my life. I was extremely bought into doing all the things that I knew I needed to do. I laid out my plan. I knew what my end goal was. My sights were set on what I wanted to do. And it seems like straightforward advice. It's very simple, but it can be hard to apply, especially as a kid. And then even when you get older, there's always going to be those distractions that can come up. But you have to have the blinders on, and that's the main point that I want you all to take away from this. I know that I'm always going to go 100 miles per hour no matter what. There's days where I do feel tired. Obviously, we're humans. We're going to feel tired. But when, for example, when I was going to those camps, there was nothing that was going to stop me. There was nobody besides the coaches there from getting as many reps as possible, from lining up as much as possible against the best guy that was there. And same thing in sales. I know that I'm going to make as many calls as I can every single day, and I'm going to do everything in my power to make the most money and do the best that I can at my job, because that's what my focus is now. And so I hope you guys found value in this video. I hope you take some advice away from this that you can apply. Again, it may seem straightforward, but it can be difficult to apply. So if you guys do have any questions, want some advice one-on-one, feel free to reach out, leave feedback, leave comments. We definitely want to hear from you. Thank you guys all for watching. We appreciate the time. If you do find value in these videos, please make sure to subscribe, turn on the notifications, and share it with a friend. Thanks again for watching, guys.